What is going on, everyone? It is Zach, and today we are going to take a look at the St. Jude's VGC Tournament because this was a huge one and it's a great one. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Will and everyone behind him who organized this and raised over $13,000 for St. Jude. Really great cause. Do love it. I was not able to play. It was the wife's birthday weekend, but I was able to donate, and that's good enough for me. But today we're going to take a look at the teams, what we saw, the metagame, because this is a regional level tournament. They had over 700 people come in. I think, yeah, it's over 700. It was won by Joe UX9 with Mega Charizard Y, of course, but you also had Brady Smith VGC Corner coming in second with a Mega Floette team. Protect the Queen, but not really, because usually on those Protect the Queen comps, you see Mega Delphox as the secondary Mega, but instead you have Dragonite non-Mega, which I think is actually really good. And we've seen it before. We saw it early in Reg MA, where Dragonite was used to kind of counter Charizard teams because it can take the heat waves very well from Charizard. And in this case, the Lumberry on the Dragonite being able to take a sleep from Venusaur and hit it back with a Fire Punch and then knock it out with extreme speed. But it didn't end up being enough for Brady, but great matchup overall. I did watch the finals. You got Michael Derbesti with a Mega Aerodactyl Charizard Y team coming in at third. For Rigorath here, this is kind of a set that we're seeing more often, the Psychic Thunderbolt, Trick Room, Protect. For teams like this, you kind of want a way to wall the Basque Legion without having to bring the King Gambit. And for Rigorath, which is immune to Last Respects, is the way of doing that. Also, Trick Room to either use Trick Room to your advantage or take away Trick Room from Trick Room teams. Arctic Fish coming in at fourth, highest rating Golden Go. And this one's actually not Life Orb. I expect to see Life Orb on Golden Go is still hitting really well. And, you know, as much as I dogged on Golden Go with all of its nerfs, it's still a very strong Pokemon. We got another Floette team, and you got Edu with Mega Swampert, but also Perish Trap. So this is kind of an interesting way. This is not a way that we've seen Perish Trap be played before. Kind of. That's not true. We've seen it before with the rain because Politoed is another Perish Song user as well. But I feel like it really works here now with Mega Swampert. Mega Swampert being the mode where you actually have a solid rain mode that isn't just depending on Archaludon. With Mega Swampert here, Wave Crash, Earthquake, Ice Punch, Protect on Mega Swampert. Everything else is kind of standard. You got the Pavilion with the Focus Sash. With Pavilion, you either see Focus Sash or Scarf, and the four moves are kind of the same, with the Scarf set carrying Tailwind usually over the Protect, or even something like Pollen Puff. But strong Sleep Powders. You got MJ here doing it again with the Mega Garchomp, which I think is just really cool. I want to go back and watch. Hopefully they were on stream. If they were, I didn't catch it. But one thing you find really interesting here is the manual sand from Aerodactyl. I feel like now that there's more than one weather, especially with rain getting a lot stronger with Mega Swampert, having that Sandstorm option there is actually pretty solid. But if you don't want to do that, you also have Charizard with the Sun here. So you get two weathers out of it, which is actually really interesting, and I think is a pretty good tech, counting on the fact that Garchomp benefits from the sand. It doesn't really care if it's in the sun, but you enable the Garchomp to do so much more. And Mega Garchomp being slower, it actually gives way for Trick Room to be a valid mode with the Mega Garchomp. So I think this is a really interesting team. MJ, they've played it really well. We got Eage. I want to say Eage because vowel consonant silent E. Highest rating Italian Ice. Someone called it Italian Ice before, and I thought it was really funny, and I like it, so I'm going to continue to call it Italian Ice. Once again, we know what the Scovillain does. We know what the Lycanroc. We know what all these mons do because we've seen this team before, and it doesn't look like they changed much here. You still have the Gunk Shot on the Sneasler, Focus Sash on the Lycanroc, Black Glasses on the King Gambit. I do think either Basket Legion or King Gambit could actually benefit from the Life Orb. I want to say in this situation, it's probably Basket Legion, but this team is pretty frail, so I do get why you still want the Citrus Berry on a team comp like this. And the Black Glasses is good because there's only Dark type moves, so you're getting a boost either way. WB, I saw them a lot on stream and I thought their team was pretty cool. Mega Venusaur and Mega Swampert here, and I think that the Mega Venusaur on rain teams is actually pretty good because the rain gives coverage to things that Venusaur doesn't like fire type moves, for example. But at the same time, when you're going against opposing rain, that Mega Venusaur is a wall. Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, you take everything well, especially after Mega Evolution with the Thick Bat on Mega Venusaur against the Swampert. If it wants to click Ice Punch into you, it's not going to do much. The one thing I really found interesting with this team is the Choice Scarf Hydreigon. I really wish I would have saw it hit more Draco Meteors. I feel like the stream matches I watched with WB playing, it missed a lot of those Draco Meteors, and it was really unfortunate because they played all their matches really well. We got another Italian Ice. We got Santee with a little bit of a protect the president, protect the queen strats here, but instead of having Mega Floret, you actually have the Mega Blastoids with Shell Smash. So I do find that really interesting. And I do think the combination of Incin and Sinistra are really good for Blastoids, as well as Sneasler and Maushold. Like you have something for almost every matchup. No Trick Room on the Sinistra, but I do remember, I'm pretty sure they played against a Trick Room Sun team and they fared very well against it. I'm trying to see unique megas. Kason Thompson, I believe, highest rated Mega Scrafty and Mega Pyroar. I believe we saw the Mega Pyroar a couple matches. This one having Yawn over Solar Beam, and I think that's okay because you have the Life Orb Venusaur here to take advantage of the sun. So you have a sun mode with Torkoal, Venusaur, Pyroar, but then you also have a Trick Room mode with Farigiraf, Scrafty, and Torkoal. So the Mamoswine is there for type coverage matchups and stuff. Solid Rock Slide too. If you can get a Rock Slide onto a Charizard, you're probably in a pretty good position. Ice Shard to do good damage against Garchomp and Dragonites, for example. And then once again, like the Farigiraf with the Thunderbolt Psychic protect here. Oh, you got Torvi here. Mega Beedrill. I'm so sad that like the matches I watched at least of Torvi playing, I didn't get to see the Mega Beedrill. I want to know what it does. Drill Run, solid ground type attack, Poison Jab for those fairies, for those grass types. U-turn to pivot in and out and then protect. But this is a rain team. Archaludon, Swampert, Pelipper. There's also the Trick Room mode as well, and then you have Manual Rain with Farigiraf over that Thunderbolt, and then Pashoberry Incin. The Pashoberry is getting really popular, especially now that rain is popping up. And this works out in your favor because if you're setting a brain, you're also boosting your opponent's water type move. So the Passion Berry Instant is pretty solid here. Braum here in 26. You got the Pyro or Torkoal, but you also have the Mega Mawile. Mega Mawile is a mon that has really interested me. No Protect on this one, no Iron Head, just Rock Slide, Sucker Punch, and Play Rough. Which makes sense in a way because anything that you're going to hit hard with a Steel type move, you're probably also going to hit it hard with Play Rough. And the Intimidate on lead is really good. This is why you sometimes see Mega Scrafty in this spot, especially Mega Scrafty getting the double Intimidate on Mega Evolution. But the Kangaskhan here is pretty solid with the Life Orb Scrappy, so you can fake out Ghost as well. And then once again, like that Farigiraf, the Psychic Thunderbolt. We do in 9th have a Mega Raichu. Which one is it? It's Mega Raichu Y. Mega Raichu with Floette. You have the Cerulean Edge for the Charizard matchups here, and to take fighting type moves very well. You have the Sinistcha for redirection and recovery, Instant. Sinistcha, Instant, or Sinistcha, Grimmsnarl, like there's such a good supportive defensive trio. And then you got the Milotic here to prevent like the pivoting in of Instant and stuff, because you're seeing a lot more setup. And surprisingly, even though it's still on top, like King Gambit has dropped a little in usage, so Instant's a little safer. So I feel like the Milotic is coming back a bit to tank those water hits from things like Swampert and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's also there to punish the Incineroar. Some other things that caught my attention. This one, 9 and 3, TTT Triple T with the Esperatha with the Baton Pass, but you also have the Rain Mode with Archaludon and Politoed, and then Scovillain as well. So very unique mega choices here for this composition, and I feel like now we're seeing more Giga Drain over Leech Seed because Mega Swampert is such a threat. And then the Life Orb Golden Go here is just nasty. Nasty plot. Is this in 31st? Is this our highest rated Mega Metagross? It is. Mega Metagross with the Coaching Sneasler I feel like is a pretty good combination here. And then you also have Snorlax. I get the Toxapex because you get Wide Guard, you get Toxic, you get Infestation, and then the Protect as well. Some people wonder why you run Protect over Baneful Bunker, and that's solely because you want to get the Toxic. You don't want to get a Poison. You want to get the Toxic. You want to get the badly poisoned, because that Toxic stacks its poison damage over time, where just regular poison does not. Mega Dragonite as well. Tailwind, Draco Meteor, Thunderbolt, Heatwave. I feel like this is solid. Is the Snorlax just here for Trick Room Sun matchups? I don't know. But Mega Metagross is really strong. You got I would assume is a Choice Scarf Typhlosion. I think this is our first Staraptor, and 34th here being set up with the Grimmsnarl as well. And then you also have the Milotic here to punish instant leads, because if you see a Mega Staraptor, you're like, hey, can I get the Intimidate off before you Mega Evolve? And then switch out, right? Once again, Grimmsnarl, Sinistcha, great defensive combo, especially with the Prankster Parting Shot here, allowing you to Parting Shot the Staraptor and give it boost, and then switch in Sinistcha for that recovery. You also have the Coil Milotic to punish any switch-ins, and then you have the Drampa to get rid of any weather. And it's actually a Calm Mind Mega Drampa. I guess with this, you do have a Trick Room mode here with the Drampa and the Sinistcha. And once again, the Golden Go. I feel like I dogged on it, but I feel like Golden Go is going to come into Worlds like underrated. There are a lot of people using it, but I do think it's going to be impressive. Here's a team that I really like. Staraptor and Sand. And the reason why I like it so much is because Staraptor being fighting and flying, you do really well into Sneaslers, into fighting types, because you have that flying type move to hit them super hard with. You have a way to basically, actually you don't have a way to boost its attack, which is interesting. But this is a Staraptor we see with Tailwind. Sometimes you will see Roost on Mega Staraptors for recovery. Sometimes you'll see Blaze Kick. Sometimes you'll see U-Turn for pivoting. But I like it on the Sand composition because what do Tyranitar and Excadrill not want to take? They don't want to take Intimidates. They don't want to take fighting type moves. What does Staraptor take really well? Intimidate and fighting type moves. You have the Golden Go here to wall out certain things and also to threaten those fairies that want to come in on lead and threaten Mega Staraptor like right off the bat with some Dazzling Gleam, some Moonblast, Draining Kiss, all that stuff. And so you can go Golden Go and Staraptor and just threaten a whole lot of stuff and lead the way for Sand to be supported and take out those threats of Sand. You also have the Milotic once again. I feel like Milotic goes really good with the Golden Go because Ensign can take Make It Rain and Shadow Ball really well, even if it's boosted. So the Milotic is there to kind of punish the Ensign. Sinistra for recovery. And I think this is a cool team. This team is interesting to me. I feel like Staraptor fizzled out really quick. I do think it's something you have to account for in tournaments, but I think the gimmick's over. Anything else interesting? We have another Staraptor. This one is Final Gambit though. So you get a little bit of both. You get the option to, you know, be a Staraptor and sit around for a really long time, but you also get the Final Gambit option as well. Once again, we have Joe UX9 with the Charizard Y Sun team with Garchomp, Ensign, Venusaur, and Sylveon. I feel like this team feels tricky, but at the same time it's solid. Like Joe played it really well in the finals, like preserving the Venusaur and using it really as bait and getting it in the positions that it needed to be with Incineroar's parting shot to get good sleep powders off. And I don't think it missed any in finals, at least. Sylveon is really strong on this team compositions. I think we're seeing Sylveon improve on different team comps just with a super strong Hyper Voice, Hyper Beam to just wipe things out if you get the chance to land it, the quick attack, and then also with the Sylveon, it rolls off of Mega Floette. So if you are facing a Mega Floette, your Sylveon's going to get boosted as well from that Fairy Aura. But then you also have the Venusaur to deal with it with Sludge Bomb. I feel like this team is... It's not the most common Charizard Y. Like we've seen Venusaur not come on a lot of these teams. We've seen Farigiraf be here and there. But I feel like this team overall, like you have the modes. You have the Charizard Y to set the Sun to enable the Venusaur. You have the Farigiraf to block priority. You have the Sylveon to deal with Garchomps. You also have your own Garchomp. Life Orb, just another set for Garchomp, just another item to enable Garchomp to be amazing. I feel like this team is pretty strong. This team is what we've been seeing, the Charizard, the Garchomp, and usually 4 friends. You know, if it's not Farigiraf, Venusaur, Ensign, Sylveon, it's Aerodactyl, it's Mega Floette, it's King Gambit, it's Vascular Legion, it's Whimsicott. but these two have just been VGC for the last couple of months. When we look at the round 1, you actually see King Gambit in like the lower 30s, and compared to where King Gambit's been in the past couple tournaments, like that is interesting, because I feel like King Gambit is still super strong, but I feel like there are other team comps that are taking it on pretty well. Swampert, for example, Stomping Tantrum, Mega Metagross, Mawile, all do really well into it, but at the same time, like, you do have a lot of new threats as well that like King Gambit wants to deal with. Like if King Gambit can get, like if it's not a Stomping Tantrum Metagross, like King Gambit does really well into it. If it's Golden Go, like King Gambit does really well into it, which is why you see things like Golden Go with Staraptor, so that Golden Go is protected by Staraptor. Garchomp at the top, Sinistcha, like I said, Sinistcha, Incin, Sinistcha, Grimmsnarl, really great combo here. I feel like if you have 2 of those support mons, like you can do a lot of work with those 2. If you can somehow fit all 3, I kind of want to talk about it in a video. If you can fit all 3, Grimmsnarl, Incin, and Sinistcha, like you can do so much with those 3 Pokemon to enable the rest of the team. The only bad thing is that it's half the team. Sneasler down to 19%, and then you got Archuludon, Swampert kind of going hand in hand. You see Archuludon being ran a little bit more than Swampert, which makes sense because there are other ways you can run Archuludon. With Swampert, you kind of have to run Rain. With Archuludon, you would prefer that, but you can also do like Power Herb, you can do like the Sturdy set with Choice Scarf or something like that. So there are other ways to run Archuludon, where if you're running Swampert, you're running Rain, and if you're running Rain, you're running Archuludon here. Pelipper, higher usage than both of them, which is interesting because I feel like that's because if you're like Pelipper is there if you have Swampert or Archuludon, where like these two they go together, yes, but they're not always exclusive. Sylveon at like 14% is kind of low, and Golden Go and Staraptor kind of being hand in hand here. The Raichus though, I expected Raichu to be there a lot more. When we take a look at day 2 is kind of what we've been seeing more in like these bigger tournaments where King Gambit is on top, and I feel like this is what I've been saying earlier with King Gambit, where like King Gambit is still really good. Its win rate was 53%. In day 2 it was 56, tying Incin, which Incin once again is making a comeback. We said it was bad. We said it lost U-turn, but you know, Assault Vest isn't in the game, so you really don't need U-turn on the Incin anyways, because Parting Shot is effectively better. Garchomp at 41%. Basculegion up here in the top 5, and then you have Mega Floret being the highest Mega. You got your Sinistcha, your Charizard. Sinistcha is just good on so many teams. For Farigiraf, you got your support. The Megas are kind of what you would expect. Archuludon, Swampert. The Rain is rising up because you're trying to find a way to beat those Charizard teams. Swampert can be it, but you also have to play against weather control really hard. Especially when you have something like Joe UX9's team that has the Venusaur there as well. Venusaur actually tying Frostlass in day 2 usage, and Pyroar up there as well. How many Scrafties did we have? We had 3 Scrafties, 2 Raichus, 2 Toxapex. Vileplume is interesting to me, and we have the 1 Beedrill, 1 Meganium, placing 75th. So more of like the old school rain team. Oh, how many Sceptiles did we see? If we look at top cut, we have Ensign with 72%. Ensign kind of coming back to its old stats. Garchomp at number 2, Charizard at number 3, which it just makes sense. You see day 2, Floette is in the top 5, but when we come to top cut, it is not. Just closing it out at top 10, and right behind it is the Golden Go. I think the Golden Go is a really good option for the Mega Floette because it kind of does what Ensign does, not what Ensign, what Metagross does, but you don't have to use a Mega slot for it, so you can kind of swap it on teams here. And we did see a little bit, I know I saw it somewhere, where people were running Arctic Fish here. The Garchomp, the Charizard Y, the Whimsicott, the Basculegion. Instead of King Gambit, instead of Ensign, instead of Sylveon, you have Golden Go and Sneasler, which is interesting because you have the Sneasler there, 2 threatened King Gambits. You have the Garchomp there, 2 threatened King Gambits. But then the team comps that have that Mega Floette, that have that Sylveon, Golden Go is there. Golden Go is there and does well against it. It doesn't do well against the Charizard, but then you have ways to deal with the Charizard, like the Garchomp, like the Basculegion, to allow Golden Go to close out games. Trying to see if there's anything else that catches my attention. One thing I have noticed that I don't see here is that some Whimsicotts, especially if they're not necessarily on a Sun team with a Charizard or a Pyroar that can carry Solar Beam, some of them are starting to carry Energy Ball for the Swampert. I can't find any here. Definitely, I still think Moonblast is the better move. But in some team comps, especially on ladder, expect one or two Whimsicotts to have Energy Ball, because I can't say that I haven't seen it. Sceptile is another one that interested me. The highest placing Sceptile was 3 and 2. Yeah, I just feel like Sceptile isn't cutting it. I get the Grass Knot, but I do feel like Giga Drain would be better. I guess Grass Knot because you guarantee a one-hit KO against Mega Sceptile. But I feel like the Scarf Rotom and Sceptile is kind of not as good. I don't want to say overplayed because it's not overplayed, but at the same time, like Mega Sceptile just isn't putting in the work like Mega Blaziken and Mega Swampert is right now, which is sad because I like Mega Sceptile, just not in VGC. But that's it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys found interesting in the St. Jude's tournament. Once again, shout out to Will and his crew for operating this and raising so much money to St. Jude's. I hope I can participate in the next one. But yeah, that's going to be all. Till next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.